Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and I am back with another educational quotation and my thoughts on that educational quotation. This is number 8, and it is a quotation from Robert Frost, a very famous American poet. I think best known probably for the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. I memorized that poem many years ago when I was in grade school. Can't remember exactly which grade it was, and I don't remember I don't have that whole poem in my memory now, but we're here to discuss a quotation of his. And just before we jump into that, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it really does help the channel a lot. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed, liked videos, commented, etc. It really does help a lot. So thank you very much for doing that. Now, here's the quotation. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. I think that's an excellent quotation. We should really keep this in mind at all times, but maybe particularly today with some of the things that are going on. I think there's a lot in here. But in terms of education, I think it is very relevant. Robert Frost wrote, I should have mentioned this a bit before, about often about settings of rural life in New England in the earlier 20th century. I think that's why I like some of his poems as well, even though I don't live in America. I live in Canada, and so I'm not from New England. But I think some of the scenes, some of the descriptions he gives reminds me of rural areas, and I did grow up in a rural area. But back to the quotation. Yes, it's important for us to be able to listen to diverse perspectives, not just our own uh, current beliefs. So sometimes we can become set in our beliefs, and that can happen at any age. It can happen at a very young age because dad or mom told you something, or a teacher told you something, and that's it. You're not open to anything else. My teacher is right, and she or he might be, but then again, maybe not. So be open to diverse perspectives. But as we get older, we can become entrenched in our own thought systems, belief systems, whatever, and not be open. So it is important to uh, try to be objective, try to step back. Because true education isn't just about learning facts or gaining knowledge, it's about growing in understanding and openness. So uh, for example, science. Sometimes people say, well, now we believe this in science, but we used to believe that, so science is no good. Well, that's not true. Science is growing as we learn more. So and usually the older information isn't completely wrong or completely used. It's what built and got us to where we are now, and parts of it are still correct. So think about learning as gaining ground and not always giving up everything. You don't have to give up everything that you know just to learn something new. Really listening is at the heart of this process. So it isn't just hearing, it's actually thinking about what the person is saying. What are they trying to say? What are the main supports of their argument? Do they have good supports for their argument? Is there something to what they're saying? Maybe I will not fully agree with what they're saying, but they might have some interesting ideas and concepts I hadn't thought of before that I should take into consideration and network with the information and thoughts that I already do have. Try to be objective. That doesn't mean you have to be a relativist. It doesn't mean you have to accept everything. I'm not a relativist. I think there are things that are correct. I think there are things that are incorrect. And I think there are a lot of things somewhere in that gray area that we are not 100% sure of and maybe never can be because there are so many factors, especially when it comes to people, emotions, and things of that nature. It's very difficult to say just right and wrong, black and white. There's a lot of nuance that we have to consider from time to time. But I'm not a relativist who believes everything is good, everything's fine, whatever you believe. No, I don't go for that much. In some arenas, that's true. That's fine. It's not doing anyone harm. That's fine. In other arenas, not so much, particularly if it is going to harm somebody else or yourself. Uh, when you're having a discussion, or someone is teaching you something new, or approaching a topic that maybe you disagree, you don't always have to respond. Sometimes it's fine just to listen and just to think about this and go away and continue to consider it. And if it's not for you, you can reject it. If it does have some value, you can see how it fits in with your knowledge base. If you do need to respond for some reason, don't don't have an emotional outburst or breakdown or whatever. Don't get angry, as the quotation says, without losing your temper or your self-confidence. So sometimes we get angry because we feel threatened by new information, by something that we didn't think of before, something that we for so long have thought we were right, that it's very difficult to hear that maybe we were wrong all those years or even all those decades. It has happened to me as well, and I have had to change. I've had to admit that my past thoughts, what I thought was right, wasn't entirely right. So if you do need to respond, use counterpoints, use evidence, use facts, use solid reasoning, not emotional outbursts or personal attacks. Definitely not personal attacks, because that, frankly, will just strengthen their belief in what they in their argument. They'll just dig in their heels anyway. So even if you are completely right and they are completely wrong, it is not a very effective way of having a debate, or trying to get somebody else to understand maybe your point of view. It's much, much better to try to stay calm. It's it's difficult sometimes. I can't say that I'm always successful at this. I'm just giving you the right advice, not necessarily what I always do, but I do try to. I do try to stick with a calm explanation. And I have found that over longer periods of time, uh, sometimes that same person comes back, has a different view on the topic, never necessarily admits or says that anything we discussed before changed their opinion, but it's changed. So I'll just accept that and move forward. It doesn't matter. I don't have to say, I told you so, or anything like that. Sorry, I think I just popped on the mic here. Put yourself in their shoes if you can. In other words, be empathetic and try to see it from their angle, from their viewpoint, from their experiences. What makes you think that way? Where did you get that information? How did you arrive at that uh, resolution or whatever? And that can help you to maybe understand why their thinking is the way it is. We all have different backgrounds, different experiences, childhoods, etc. And so that sometimes explains. And then when I can see where that person's coming from, well, maybe I can accept some of what they're saying, but maybe I still don't, but I can understand it better, and I can have a better debate or a better argument, not necessarily arguing, fighting. I don't mean that, but just, discussion where in which you're both sort of trying to tweak each other's point of view, have you come around. So new ways, you may think of a new way of thinking. You may think of a third way. So this, there's me, there's you. There may be something else over here, you know, not necessarily right in between, but somewhere within that. There could be a third way of thinking about it. Uh, you can add or subtract or rearrange the framework of your existing understanding to have a different understanding. So the more you listen, the more you learn about the world, about others, about yourself. You grow as a person when you listen to other people, even people who have very bizarre, very wrong opinions or ideas about how things work. They can be factually incorrect, but you can still learn a lot about them and about yourself if you can be patient and listen and try to understand where they're coming from. And then maybe, if the opportunity is right, it just depends on what situation we're talking about, um, maybe help them onto a path that is a little bit more rational, reasonable, and factually based. And, could change their life without you ever even knowing that, because maybe this person you're not going to see again. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on, but education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. So be confident in what you already know, but also be open to learning new information, changing, tweaking, adjusting what you think you already know. I know there's a philosophical argument of can we ever really know anything, and we can get into all that. But I think from day to day, week to week, year to year basis, we need to believe in what we think we know at least so that we can survive and so that we can thrive and continue to do our work and take care of our families, etc. So on a more grounded level, there are things that we know or that we believe we know for now. Doesn't mean they can't change, doesn't mean we can't learn and move forward. It's all about learning. Speaking of which, don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check below for some links. Uh, this comes from the merch store, actually. I put it on today because it's a little chill down here. And I remembered I had this hoodie, so I thought, oh, that'll keep me a little bit cozy while I'm making this video. But there's lots of other things on that, too, cups and tote bags and t-shirts, etc., etc. So you might want to check that out. Links to my books, etc. Of course, you can comment. Let me know what you think about this quotation. If you have any questions, you can let me know that as well. You can also email me and check out the website if you like. Don't forget, if you're going to take one of my YouTube courses, not YouTube courses, this is YouTube, Udemy courses, send me an email so I can send you a coupon. Let me know which course you want to do. I can send you a coupon for a price much lower than listed. Udemy does often have sales, but if they're not having one on right now, send me a message. I can give you a coupon for $9.99 to $13.99. It depends what Udemy offers me to give to you. But the coupon only lasts for 5 days, so you have to click on it. I can't put it below. It won't last long enough. I'd have to keep coming back every few days on all my videos to change them, which doesn't make too much sense. So send me an email and I will send you a coupon. In the meantime, keep learning, keep having fun. It is Ron from L.T.L Tutoring Central. Bye-bye for now.